Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope you all in great conditions. My name is Rina Hidayati, and today I'm going to discuss an interesting topic about corpus approaches in discourse analysis. So let's start this presentation by knowing the definitions of corpus. So what is corpus in discourse analysis? It focuses on understanding how language functions in extended pieces of communications, looking beyond isolated sentences to understand meaning in context. The corpus in this field provides a repository of language data, either spoken or written, that reflects natural, authentic usage across different genres and contexts. A course typically consists of real-world language samples such as newspaper, articles, transcript of spoken conversations on social media parts, and the other forms of text or speech. These samples allow discourse analysis to be observed language in this natural context as opposed to fabricated hypothetical. Example for it may analyze how news or article are structured to convey authority, or how conversation participants manage turn taking in spoken dialogue. Corpus linguistic is a subfile that employs computational tools to analyze language data in corpora. So using software, discourse analysis can conduct frequency analysis, or how often or certain words or phrases appear, and then collocations analysis, which word tend to occur, and occurrence analyze how words are used in contexts across different of the text. This method helps researchers uncover the recurring pattern and discourse structures, such as how certain phrases are consistently used to express power, identity, or authority in different types of discourse. For example, in the political discourse, in this case, a corpus of political speeches or debates can reveal how politicians use rhetorical strategies to influence public opinion, such as the repetitions of a key slogan or the framing of certain topic. And next is about the types of corpora that is used in discourse analysis and pragmatics. In discourse analysis and pragmatics, there are various types of corpora that is used to analyze language in different contexts and different purposes. The selections of particular types of corpora depends on the research goals and then the focus of the study and the natures of the data needed. So here are the main types of corpora used in discourse analysis and pragmatics. The first is general corpora. General corpora are large collections of language that cover a broad range of text types and spoken interactions. These corpora are designed to represent the language used across different genres, registers, and social settings. Providing a comprehensive view of language and use in discourse analysis, general corpora are used to study common patterns of language use across different domains. It allows researchers to identify discourse structures and then the rhetorical strategies and general conversations that are prevalent in various types of communications. For example, in media, politics, and also educations. And the second one is specialist corpora. Specialist corpora are designed to focus on specific types of discourse, text, genres, or communication setting. They contain language data relevant to particular field topics or social interactions. And then specialized corpora are ideal for analyzing language in domain a specific discourse. For example, a corpus of legal discourse can be used to study how legal language is structured to convey authority, clarity, and precision, or how argumentation is constructed in court proceeding. And the third one is spoken corpora. Spoken corpora consists of transcriptions of real-life spoken instructions, often accompanied by metadata about the speakers, social roles, and then the context of the conversations. Some spoken corpora also include audio or video recording to capture additional paralinguistic informations like intonation, speech, and also stress. Then the use in this course analysis. Spoken corpora are essential for analyzing conversational discourse and real-time communications, and it's helped the researchers study how speakers construct meaning, manage turn taking, and use the discourse made markers.
Hey there, language lovers. Have you ever wondered how linguists analyze languages in the real world? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics, the science of studying language through massive collections of real-world texts. Whether it's novels, tweets, or ancient manuscripts, corpus linguistics helps us crack the code of how language is actually used. Let's jump right in. What is corpus linguistics? Corpus linguistics is an empirical method of studying language using a text corpus, basically a huge collection of authentic written or spoken texts. These corpora, that's the fancy plural of corpus, aim to represent a particular variety of language in the real world. The best part? These collections aren't just random. They're carefully balanced and stratified, meaning they cover different types of texts like newspapers, fiction, and even everyday conversations. Today, thanks to technology, most corpora are machine-readable, allowing researchers to analyze them using computers. With large amounts of text at their fingertips, linguists can perform quantitative analyses, helping them find patterns and trends that would be nearly impossible to spot manually. Why use corpora? So why do linguists turn to corpora instead of just, talking to people? Well, corpus linguistics provides reliable, real-world evidence that helps answer questions about how language works. It's all about observing language in its natural habitat, with minimal interference. By analyzing corpora, we can discover things like which words are most commonly used in everyday speech, how grammar evolves over time, and the differences between written and spoken language. Corpus data isn't just useful for academics. It's revolutionized fields like language teaching, translation, and even AI-driven chatbots. A brief history of corpora. All right, let's hop in a time machine. Corpus linguistics isn't as new as you might think. Ancient scholars used religious texts like the Sanskrit Vedas and the Quran to analyze language patterns. But modern corpus linguistics took off in the 1960s with the famous Brown corpus, a groundbreaking project that compiled 1 million words from 1961 American English. This project paved the way for others, like the LOB corpus, capturing 1960s British English, the British National Corpus, a whopping 100 million word collection from the 1990s, and even corpora of ancient languages like Biblical Hebrew and Classical Arabic. Annotating corpora. Now, here's where things get a little spicy. Not all corpus linguists agree on how much annotation should go into a corpus. On one side, you've got John McCarty Sinclair, who believed in minimal annotation, letting the raw text speak for itself. On the other, there's the Survey of English Usage team, who argue that more detailed annotation provides a deeper linguistic understanding. Annotations can include part-of-speech tagging, identifying nouns, verbs, adjectives, etc. Syntactic analysis, how words fit together in sentences, and semantic tagging, the meanings behind the words. Today's uses of corpus linguistics. Fast forward to today and corpus linguistics is everywhere. It's used to improve dictionaries and grammar books, like the American Heritage Dictionary, power machine translation, such as Google's AI translation models, and train AI chatbots and virtual assistants, making them more natural sounding. We even have multilingual corpora, helping us understand the relationships between different languages. And thanks to advancements in natural language processing, NLP, corpus linguistics plays a crucial role in developing voice recognition systems, sentiment analysis tools, and more. How to use corpora yourself. Curious to dive into the world of corpora yourself? You can access public databases like the Corpus of Contemporary American English, COCA, over 400 million words from everyday speech, the British National Corpus, BNC, ideal for exploring British English, and the International Corpus of English, ICE, great for comparing English varieties worldwide. These tools allow you to search for words, analyze their frequency, and even see how they appear in different contexts. Perfect for language learners, researchers, and curious minds alike. So what do you think? Corpus linguistics is an incredible way to explore language like never before, using real-world data to uncover fascinating insights.
Alright, what is a corpus? If you know me, you know that I like to explain words by saying where they come from, so here you go. I'm so predictable. The word corpus comes from Latin and means body, and incidentally, it's the same root for the word corpse, for obvious reasons I guess. So a corpus is a body, we've established that, but what kind of body? Coming to think of it, using the word body is really just a metaphor. I think I'll just post a link to my metaphor video somewhere around here. Definition. A corpus is a collection of authentic texts commonly used for the purpose of research. Yes, it's that simple. By authentic we mean that the texts were written by native speakers, and in a way really everything can be a corpus. Newspapers, novels, recipes, Facebook posts, tweets, you name it. How does it all work then? Well, let's assume you're a massive Justin Bieber fan, dear viewer, which could be about accurate if I look at the demographics of my videos. So you're a Justin Bieber fan and you want to dedicate your time to analyzing his linguistic prowess. What you could do is you could gather every single tweet he has ever written and save them in one file. Now this is your corpus, a very simple one, but it's fully functional already. And with the right software you can now look at things in your Belieber corpus such as word frequency, collocation, or even concordance. But what are those three things? I'm so glad you asked. Let me show you that with an example. Just take a simple text file of one of my literary studies assignments and run it through a free software called AntConc. Right, word frequency helps you check how often a word appears in a text. This can be really useful because that will allow you to make statements about the register and audience of the text. My most frequently used words here: the, of, to, and and then the words rivers and shell shock, which isn't much of a surprise because the essay actually was about shell shock and a shell shock therapist called Rivers. In collocation you can look at kinds of words that seem to appear in close proximity. They sort of form pairs, and in an authentic text this will tell you a lot about which words are more likely to combine in a language. In my example here I screened my corpus for collocates of the word shell shock. Here it tells us how often these collocations appear and if the collocate is to the left or to the right of my search item. And finally, concordancing, which is probably the most pleasing to OCD people, because not only does it make pretty columns, it allows you to see what bigger chunks of language surround your search item in the corpus. Really cool. So as you see, corpus analysis has lots of benefits. First of all, it deals with relatively objective data and can be easily carried out with huge quantities of text. Also, it's a descriptive method, and that's always a plus, isn't it? Also, working with corpora can be really beneficial to high proficiency language learners. Not sure about the preposition you have to use after abide? Just look it up in a corpus. And here's a pro tip for simple things like this: even Google's frequency count can be really helpful as well. So moving on, corpus linguistics grants insight into really interesting fields of linguistics such as morphosyntactic patterns, processes of language change, or even lexical traces of discourses. And that's it. Now you've got a general idea of corpora.
One way to help revise your writing for grammar and scholarly voice is to use a corpus. A corpus is a large electronic collection of texts that you can search to learn about academic phrasing and formulaic phrases and expressions. The internet is the easiest corpus to use. To check if a particular phrase is used, search for it on the internet. For example, you could type in the words "in the other hand" and "on the other hand" and see the results of your search. If there are few hits, then it is likely not standard phrasing. On this slide, you can see a few other examples of corpuses you could use. One is Google Scholar, another is the Corpus of Contemporary American English, and the last one listed here is a subset of the Corpus of Contemporary American English. Word and phrase info that focuses specifically on academic texts. There are many, many more corpuses available. Some of them are free and some require a subscription. Feel free to explore and find a corpus that you like the best. You can also find the links to the specific corpuses listed here on the Writing Center website. In this video, I will lead you through two different examples of using a corpus so that you can envision how you could use this in your own writing. Here, you can see that I am on the Search tab in the Corpus of Contemporary American English. The question I want to know is if I can write discuss about something, or if I should simply write instead discuss something. Therefore, I type the word discuss in the search box here. Then I click on Find Matching Strings. According to the results on this slide, there are 24,797 matches with the word discuss. I want to see what these matches look like, so I click on the word discuss to show the examples. You can see the first 16 examples on this slide. The word discuss is highlighted in the sentence within the context. I have some other information about these instances of the word discuss here as well. I can see the date of publication and the journal in which this word is used. This may or may not be important to me, depending on what type of information I'd like to glean from the corpus. If, for example, I want to look at how a particular word is used in a particular journal, then I might want to focus on this information more. I may also want to be sure that the examples I am looking at are published academic sources and not text from spoken English, as words may be used differently in different contexts. I could also click on any of these examples and see the word discuss in the larger context of the paragraph or sentence where it is used. In this example, however, I just want to know if I can write discuss something or discuss about something. So the information shown on this slide gives me my answer. When I look closely at the examples here, I can see that in each case we say discuss something and never discuss about something. Therefore, in my own writing, I know that I should not use the preposition about after the verb discuss. The corpus here helped me find my answer. Let's look quickly at another example. This time, I am in the subset of the Corpus of Contemporary American English, the word and phrase info, that focuses on academic English. My question this time is about how often the verb claim appears in different fields of study and if there are synonyms for this verb. I type in the word claim here. I can also decide if I want to look at this in all parts of speech, or just when it is used as a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb. I could also choose limit discipline and look at the use of this verb in my own particular field of study. In this search, I decided not to select this. I then click on Search to see what I can find. As a verb, claim appears 16,031 times in this corpus. I can also see here that it is used more frequently in some disciplines over others. This verb seems to be more commonly used in history than in education. Therefore, if I am writing in the field of education, the verb claim is probably not something I want to use a lot. Maybe I want to find a synonym for this verb instead. This corpus also lists synonyms and their frequency of use. I can see on this slide some possible synonyms and how commonly they are used. There is so much more you can do with a corpus to check for grammar and scholarly voice in your own writing. I hope this short video gives you some ideas and that you continue to explore using corpuses more on your own.
As conclusions, so corpus approaches in discourse analysis represent a powerful methodology for examining language in context. By providing empirical data, so these approaches allow researchers to gain deep insight into the complexities of language use in various social settings. Ultimately, corpus approaches enhance our understanding of how discourse is constructed, interpreted, and plays a role in shaping societal narratives. I think that's all. Thank you for your attentions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.